What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kryptonite, because I believe that cryptocurrency is the kryptonite of our modern financial system, and I love it. Guys, we're going to jump right into the Bitcoin charts. You guys know I could talk every video about how much I love Bitcoin and how much I think it is the best form of money that humans have ever invented. It's not perfect. It will probably fail at some point, like every other mechanism that humans have used to transact, because human nature, by its nature, is broken and will never be redeemed until Jesus comes and redeems it. So, but hey, we work with the best we can, and I do believe that Bitcoin is the best form of money that we have right now. It's something I've been dollar cost averaging in probably from around, I'd say anywhere from 35,000 to 15,000. I have been dollar cost averaging, which is the safest way to do it because no one can honestly predict when the bottom is coming or what the exact price will be. We only know, hey, look, it's 80% off. This is an asset we believe in. By the way, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. But for me, I'm investing a vast majority of my money personally into Bitcoin. I see it as an asset unlike anything we've ever seen, as far as something that is a worldwide network, that is not under the charge of any specific government, that can't be printed or made more of. And to me, that is an asset that I absolutely want to put most of my wealth into. Of course, I do own some other things as well. I own other cryptocurrencies because they do have uses and they are important. I do own some stocks and things of that nature. But for me, the safest bet is, oh my gosh, that was disgusting. Thank you, Mr. Cockroach, for coming onto my mic. Appreciate that. So without further ado, let's jump right into the charts and show you what I am looking at. So this chart right here, I'm showing the weekly chart. As always, we want to start with a big picture in mind before we get down to the minor details and those smaller moves. I'm going to be honest, guys, I haven't traded in a while. I have been super crazy busy working, getting myself completely out of debt. And also, I wanted to protect my assets as well. I still own Bitcoin, Ethereum, and things, and I want to protect that. I don't want to have to liquidate that to pay off any debt. So I was working real hard so I could protect those assets for the long term, because this is not the time you want to be selling these assets. This is not the time. This is buying time. This is when something's 80% off and you believe in it. That's when you are buying, not selling. But unfortunately, a lot of people are selling and not buying. The average investor who's not doesn't have the training or understanding of Bitcoin, they are going to sell right now. They think it's dead. They think it's going to zero. They think it's a scam, whatever it is. That's fine. They can think all they want because they're selling their Bitcoin to this guy right here, and I'll happily take it up. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Okay, so if we look at the big picture, we can see our previous all-time high over here at about 19,000, around 20,000. We'll just say 20,000. We did come back down, and of course, we didn't retest it perfectly, and it makes sense why we wouldn't, guys, because the market is trying to wreck people. It's trying to it's human. This is like human emotion, human psychology on display. So things are not going to perfectly align. Things are like we weren't going to perfectly get a perfect bounce from 20,000 and up, right? Humans aren't that perfect. So of course, there's absolutely going to be room for error. That's why whenever you're setting these type of support and resistances, they're really just a guide. They don't really represent where it's actually going to stop or not, right? You have to you're better off honestly drawing boxes. I typically do boxes because they give you a range in which it could stop around this level, right? But it's not going to be perfect. So I don't think anyone really expected that it was just going to hold 20,000 perfectly and then bounce from it. As you can see, we've come all the way down to about 15,000, I think $500, something around that range. And again, we are still close to this top here of our previous high, so it is still acting as support. We even have kind of our second leg up before the sort of down period started. The first bear market, not the first bear market, but a bear market started. And we're actually kind of more holding support near that area where there's kind of a secondary spot where we are getting support. And a lot of times it works like that. So I'm not surprised we're getting support here. This is a very just key area. And we have held it quite nicely. Now, if you look at my previous videos, I did say, and again, we still could go lower. You never know. But I did say in the 17,000s, I did not think that was the bottom. I thought we'd get one more wick down. I thought it'd be more of a scammy wick. I thought we'd see like a fat, just wreck a bunch of people as they all just sold and went short, and then a bunch of big players would just buy up. But I don't think the big players wanted to make it too the big players, they don't want you to know their positions, and they don't want to signal them too early. So if there was just a big scam wick down and then a big hammer candle, that would be too obvious, right? And the market doesn't want to be obvious, because the big players that drive the market, they want to slowly accumulate positions and then make their move, right? That's the key. They need liquidity. They need your liquidity if you're a trader. They are searching and hunting for your liquidity so they can make their move. So that's really the key with trading, is trying to understand what the big players are doing and make your move in unison, as opposed to you just being exit liquidity, which again is a lot easier said than done. That's enough said right there. It is easier said than done, 100%. So we have to get in the mindset though of big money. So as you can see here, I think we've definitely seen some accumulation type period. As you can see, we've almost formed a nice little, actually I have a better setup on a different chart, which I will show you. Let's go to, actually no, I have it on this one. Yeah, so as you can see, we formed a little triangle here that's dipping down. Sorry, we have this cockroach problem and they just keep popping up and it's freaking me out. As you can see, we had a nice breakout from this wedge here, this falling wedge. Now the target of it is going to be pretty much the top, around 26,000. So we have not reached the top of the wedge yet, but it doesn't mean it has to go all the way there. Again, humans aren't perfect, so it's not going to perfectly hit that target every time. I wish it would. And we could see some resistance here. In fact, if we look at this level right here, you can see that it is a pretty strong level of resistance potentially in the short term, because we had a dramatic price stop right here where there was a lot of buying support, which shot the price back up. And then as you can see here, after we got below it, we had to come back up and we retested that same area almost twice there, general area, before we got another rejection down. So this level is quite an important level. I don't know if it's got any real history, not any real recent history, other than those two big price moves, a big price move there and a big price move there. So we are close to that. That's sitting around 25,000, where we could run into some resistance. As you can see, we're already kind of starting to slow down a little bit. We had some a nice decent volume uptick right here, which is a good sign, but it needs to be more significant than some of these more downward moves. We need to see higher volume. And if we look, I mean, it's high, but is it higher than what we've seen for some of these down moves? It's not. So that doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence, to be honest, that this is the end of the bear market, or that this is a significant move. I think if I were a big player, if we're trying to think like the big players, I want to accumulate right now. So I would not want to dramatically drive the price up. I would, if I was a big player, I would happily have this range in this area for as long as possible. Just range right here, because then I would just slowly accumulate. We drop back down under 20,000, accumulate some more. We come back up, right? If I'm a big player, I would love to just accumulate right now and not do anything dramatic. So I do think that is one potential outcome here, is that we just range for a little bit. Maybe we don't fully reach here. Maybe we drop back down, we come back down. Maybe we even get a little support from our previous high here. We come back up, then maybe we hit it. Then we come maybe back down kind of dramatically, right? We could see a bit of a ranging action here. I would not be surprised. And actually, to be honest, I am hoping for more range, right? I have some more money I'd like to allocate, and I don't necessarily want to get at 20. This isn't a bad price to get in. I'll probably still buy some anyway, just because, again, we're still in this low range here, and it's not a bad price. Would it be better to get it, if it dropped back down to 16? Sure, of course it would. But we don't know if that's going to happen. For all we know, we could get a bust above 25, get support, and then we're off to the races. We know that 30K, of course, is going to be a pretty big resistance level. It had acted as support multiple times. Big dramatic dump from that level. It's got some other things as well. I talked about in my last video with some Fibonacci levels and some different things in unison, again, making 30K that really big level. So right now, guys, I'm personally not seeing the levels of volume to really get excited. I foresee a range action here. And again, I'm excited about that too, because I am hoping to get a couple more buys down here under 20K. You know, we do have a strong support here, so I wouldn't even be surprised either if we held this 20,000 again, or say about 18 to 19,000. Maybe we come down. Like I said, it kind of aligns perfectly with this previous resistance here. So I could definitely see us coming back down here. Maybe even making, we got the 1 head, the 2 head. Maybe we come down. Oh, that looks like something else. Maybe a little head and shoulders here. Come back down to retest this level right here around 18, 19K, which has been pretty dang strong. And then maybe that's the next leg up. So that's my prediction at this point. I am kind of more looking for short positions. I think we are at a level of resistance that needs to be accounted for. Let's just save that. Let's see. Main. Let's go main. I have some different layouts here I wanted to show. No, do we want that one? No, sure, let's do this one. This one's a little more stuff going on, as you can see. And I'm gonna, that's okay. I want to go down to a shorter time frame. So we did get our switch here. As you can see, the super trend on the weekly time frame. We did get our first green weekly, and it's just small, just the beginning. But you see how we started here, which was, let's see. And sometimes these are late, right? We started this one, and we are already at this point in time, right here. So we had a little more upside before, we went down. So here, though, if you caught this beginning of this trend, wow, you would have not seen any downside for quite some time. So again, this is not a perfect indicator, but on the weekly time frame, it does give you the thought of, hey, although in the shorter time frame we might range, we might come back down, it doesn't mean that in the longer trend we are going to stay in this uptrend, which I think would make a lot more sense. As you can see here, right, we had the super trend start, and it actually, right, came up and actually came back down for one final retracement right here before off to the races. So I could totally see a similar thing playing out, where we've got the start of our super trend. It actually is going to come down one more time. It's going to keep the trend. Like our green is going to stay green, just like our green stayed green over here. But it's going to come down for one more retracement and range, and then continue the upward trend. I think that's more likely the type of move we're going to see. Again, big players do not want a dramatic move yet. They want more time to accumulate. So why not accumulate more on something like this? Now, it could just be a false run as well. Like last time we had the bear market, we had one more run up, second bottom, which I think we kind of already had. We had our top, we had our second run up, which did make a higher high, but there's some talk that this could have been more of a false top, and maybe this was really kind of the secondary top. And then we did come back up one more for almost like a third before continuing on. So, oops, I need to get off this marker thing. So again, I think what I'm seeing in the charts from me personally is one more retracement back down, probably getting support around that $18,000 to $19,000 range before just slowly continuing the trend, right? Slowly continuing the trend. And, big players have one last chance before everyone's like, yo, we're in, before we take off. So that's my take. You can take it or leave it. So again, I'm holding back some of my money. I'm waiting for one more potential retracement. I'm definitely going to continue to just dollar cost average around in this area, because as you can see, we're already kind of forming a little bit of just a mini hammer candle there on the top, right near this resistance level. So again, and it's good if it does retrace, because we want to see a healthy trend, and healthy trends have nice periods of retracement. We need that. Otherwise, it's just too parabolic, and it will will tank just as hard, if not harder, than it went up. We don't want to see that. We want to see a nice healthy trend. We had a nice little upswing here, a couple breaks. Again, maybe we get one more final one. In fact, let's take a look. I have one that should show if we're having any RSI divergences. Because usually after a couple of them, we gotta start, being wary. Now, the CVD indicator's not showing anything. I have one of these that has my RSI on it. I'm trying to find. Well, I guess this one could work for now. So we did see, this is the 8-hour time frame. Let's go to the daily first. See if we're seeing any divergences. Oh, of course, we're not going to show up now. So as you can see, we already do have one divergence here. We've got a high and a higher high on the chart, but a lower high. So this is our first sign of weakness. We're also in the oversold territory. It's on the daily chart too, so it's decently significant. So we are definitely going to see some of the bullish pressure die off a little bit. And as you can see, it's kind of forming a nice little rounding, right? Usually if it's rounding like that, that is not a great sign. It was fairly parabolic, this little mini run. Now the question is, do we have one more? Do we have one more upswing? Like, when does the actual retracement come, right? Do we get one more upswing, one more bearish divergence, and then, right? That's the challenging part of trading reversals, is you'll see a couple, 1, 2 in a row, and you'll think, okay, now's the time, and then it'll do one more, stop you out, and then go down. And that sucks. That really sucks. So we definitely need to find some other confluence as to, why we would buy at this level, or why we would sell at this level. And I don't know if there's quite enough for me. Again, more near 25,000. We're getting more near the top of this previous resistance, which would be one confluence of a potential supply zone, I believe it was called, right? So that was right there. So that right there, to me, is maybe where I would more look. I'd want to see a reaction more from that $25,000 level. It's a nice strong number, 25,000. It's a psychological level, 25. We've got previous multiple tops here supporting that. We'll have our bearish divergences, one already. We could definitely see another one on another upswing. So I would personally feel a little bit better. Maybe waiting a little bit. Let me look at one more thing to see if there's more kind of more significance to this level. I want to look at the fixed price range for, let's just do this whole section here to here. Just want to see if there's any more. Okay, so so we are, in that range as well is our potential, volume high here. And we've actually technically already reached it at 24,000. So right here in this range, 24 to about 25,000, a little higher. We are in that range where you could start looking for a short position. We have some extra confluence here. We've got our previous resistance. We've got our POC, not our point of controls right there, but we have a kind of a volume high level. A lot of times it likes to bounce in between these ranges here. So there's two confluences that we could look at. The third confluence, let's take a look at what our Fibonacci levels are saying to see if we can get some more confluence. Now we are at the 786, but it didn't look like it really slowed us down too much. And the 618 isn't all the way up to until 28,000. So that's not really giving us maybe anything extra that we would say that, okay, we have to buy at this level, right? So that's where it's tough, guys. This is where, we got two confluences here. We'd like that. We don't have any sort of trend. It's nice to get a trend line as well. We had this trend line that got broken, right? So we don't have that anymore. Our target would be more of for the top of this potential. In fact, let me take a look here at this. So we have a little triangle here that actually didn't even really, you could draw this a couple different ways. Oh, the joys of trading, all the different ways you can draw. Okay, so let's go more of a shorter term one. Let's go more like this. Bear with me here. Okay. So this would indicate more that we have basically hit the top, or that we're very close to it, of this recent run, because technically the price target would be about 25,265. So again, we are seeing there. Here we go. We got some confluences. We have the top of our pattern here. Our falling wedge would be around 25,000 there. We've got our just hand drawn resistance line where we see some previous highs being hit, some supply zones, and then we have our volume high area sitting a little bit below that. So this is definitely a range in which we want to be looking potentially to take a short for a move on the smaller time frames, right? I think that's very very reasonable. I'm definitely, my eye has been more tuned as far as short term. Again, there's my dollar cost averaging account, and then there's my actual trading account. My dollar cost averaging account doesn't care about these little moves. My trading account does care and wants to make some money. So my trading account is thinking, hey, I'm looking short because this is a strong, potentially strong short-term resistance line, and we want to be selling at resistance. We've got a couple confluences there. Again, I wish we had more confluence with like a Fibonacci or something, but I'm not seeing anything there that would really strike too much fear into me. Here's one that you could pull out, but that's not until 26. That's still got a ways to go. So is this strong enough to take a trade? That is the question. I would say at this point in time, no, not yet. Oh, that is a nice little hammer candle forming, I must say. It's tempting. It's very tempting, because you could, if you were going to throw a trade in there, which, maybe I will take this one. We'll see. Where's my trading? Okay. So if I was to take a trade, I definitely would want to have this guy probably at least there. You want to, here's the top of this last move. And then above both our hand-drawn line, our volume. So you'd want a decent, spot here. And, the market could always do what it loves to do and come up and break this previous high. So that's a potential scenario you could wait for as well. Now, you potentially could lose out on the trade if you want to hit sort of more of something like this. But if you waited to see if it would come up and break this previous high, we might get a bit of a liquidity grab where big players are going to get basically trapped traders on either side, take liquidity from anyone who had their stop losses there, and then break back. So that's something I would be looking for as well, is a break of this previous high here, and then immediately coming back into this zone under these supports. I would definitely at that point take a sell position, because we have taken liquidity, we have broken our previous high there, and we have come right back into our sort of ranging pattern right at a key resistance line. That's probably the trade I'm honestly looking for, because I don't trade as often as I used to. That would probably be the setup that I am most interested in taking, unless we see a reaction. If I see more of a reaction from this, well, I mean, we have sort of, you could say we have a reaction with this hammer candle forming. It does have some time left on it, so it's not for sure. But let's jump down to the shorter time frames and just see. Now, I did see this earlier, and this was getting me, gosh dang it, getting me interested in the sell position. So we had this forming, this little kind of mini triangle, right? And we saw a break from it, right? Broke our previous high, took some liquidity. In fact, I wonder, do I have indicators on here? I would love to see if what kind of divergences are being played out here on the 4-hourly time frame on this guy. I wish I had. I could add one. Let me add RSI. Should be just on here somewhere. Gonna look. Oh, there are my other ones. Oh, see, I knew I already had some on here. Okay. Annoying. So let's take a look here. We had a divergence, multiple. No, this one was not a divergence. So we did have divergence right here, and we took liquidity. So I was sort of looking at that as a potential, we're already at this level, this area, I'll say of area of resistance, right? That we know that we're kind of looking for sells. It could turn around in this area. Now we have, a bearish divergence on the higher time frame, and then we have even another one here on the shorter time frame at a higher high, lower high. Nice little, spike of nice little hammer candle there, and then coming back down. So this was a position I was potentially even looking at maybe taking a trade in this range. Now, I wish, unfortunately, the stochastic isn't really in a position that I love to see it to kind of give us an extra confluence there. Because you could do a smaller trade above this guy here if that is the last bit of that move. Because it could be sort of that's an interesting one. So I don't know if we have quite enough confluence for that yet. I'd have to do a little more digging. I'm still working on kind of exactly how I want to nail things down. But I think for me, I'm still just going to wait to get maybe a reaction from this larger move here in hopes for a liquidity grab spike here to take that liquidity and then come right back down. And then at that point, that's when you could see more of that head and shoulders, maybe play out here, right? You get the shoulder, it gets that big head up here, takes liquidity, comes back down, makes one more, change of market structure on the shorter time frame, and then you get a move down, right? Maybe that would help us take our trade here and win our trade. And then again, I'm looking for support around that $18,000 level is where I'd be looking as like I don't think we're going much lower than that, to be honest. I think we hit the bottom already. So guys, those are just some trading ideas and what I have in mind, what I see for the future of Bitcoin. If we look on just jump back to the longer time frames. Ooh. Hey, no, I don't want this. Thank you. Again, we got a ways to go, guys. We're not in the clear yet. But the fact that we didn't break down out of this, what could have been a bear flag, I mean, that would have taken us down. But it's just fundamentally, it just doesn't really make sense for Bitcoin to ever go that low again. There's just no fundamental. I mean, I know that these fundamental technical analysis. Don't think about but we're talking about one of the scarcest assets in the history of mankind. Like there's no logical explanation at all besides just manipulation that honestly can't happen because again, it's a network that is unique in that it's not controlled and can't be controlled by any central entity. So even if someone wanted to manipulate it, good luck. Have fun trying. You're going to need a lot of energy and a lot of computer power. Good luck. So it can't be manipulated. It's one of these scarcest assets, I think, in the history of mankind. There's no fundamental reason in any way that it would go that low. I guess you never know, right? Life's crazy. It would absolutely shock me to like my core if we went that low. It just doesn't make sense. Just from a supply and demand standpoint, it makes zero sense. Again, we're only getting closer to the Bitcoin halving, where there'll be less available Bitcoin on the market, and the supply has not gone up. It's only going down. So again, guys, keep dollar cost averaging in. Keep just playing it safe, guys. I know, obviously, I have some Ethereum as well and some Cardano. Those are probably my top three. I do believe that Crow and Crypto.com is going to survive. I have call it a gut feeling that, although we've lost a lot of exchanges, I do believe we're near the bottom. And if an exchange hasn't already gone down, I don't think it's going to go down. I think we've already, eliminated a lot of the bad players. And I do think Crypto.com is going to survive. So I do plan on actually investing some in Crypto.com because at 7 cents per, that is something that if it survives, which I think it will, and of the few exchanges that do survive, Binance, Crypto.com, etc., they especially have their own cryptos. I mean, you could see some massive gains from that. I saw it firsthand. I'm going to tell you a little story. I put $4,000 into crypto.com when it was 11 cents. Unfortunately, I had it staked, so I could not sell. It went up to 30,000, and I had to just watch it. And you know what happened? It came right back down. I couldn't sell. I was locked in because I had staked it for the card. So I don't think I'll be staking it this time. That was hard to watch. That was hard to watch how much money I could have had I been able to unstake. Like that's to me, that's a down payment on a house, a real nice house that I could be living in right now. That just I had to watch it go down and down and down. Still hurts the heart. Still hurts the heart. But again, I think that if they survive, they have major upside as one of the few exchanges that has survived. Not a lot have. They already have name and branding power. I mean, their little name is crypto.com, right? I mean, if they don't, they have literally the best name possible, the most easy to remember. Oh yeah, crypto.com. Like, it's just basic, easy. Like, you don't have to do a lot wrong to make that go down. As long as I've heard they've got some holdings and some stupid stuff, though, to be honest. So that's again, super risky play, but if it pays off, I mean, you could make some nice money at crypto.com. So I do plan on investing in there as well. And those are kind of the main ones I really care about. A lot of the other ones are kind of just super fun, speculative. Just plan on losing your money unless you're just you're real ballsy. I mean, just keep that allocation of your portfolio small. But that's all I got for you. I'm gonna go and get some sleep. But I'm glad I got to jump on here again and break down the charts, break down what I'm seeing. Again, I am looking for those short positions based on the reactions here in the next couple of days. I am itching to take a trade. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a while. I took a couple trades way back when. I don't even know what chart they're on. I could show you, but it was a while ago. And I mainly did it when I saw a CVD indicator. Well, I would see it hit a resistance that I had marked, and then I would see the CVD indicator telling me there was divergence, and then I was able to win a couple trades on just sort of a pattern continuation. I'll have to, if I can find those again, I'll show you guys how I won those. But yeah, guys, trading is freaking hard, dude. That's kind of why I love it, though, the challenge of it. It's almost like professional sports. Like, if you can make it in trading, being a profitable trader is like becoming an NFL player. Like, just very few people can do it. And if you can do it, like, that's a big accomplishment. So I would love to be able to put that on my gravestone, that I was one of the 5% of people that become profitable in trading. That's quite takes a lot of perseverance and a lot of discipline. And that's what I'm working towards, guys. So glad you're on the channel with me. As always, make sure to save your money, grow your money, buy some Bitcoin, because it's the safest. And I'll see you guys on the next one.